Hi boys and girls, I'm back. Today I want to draw along with you something really important to our school. Now if you're not a member of the Brumfield community, I still invite you to grab a pencil and paper and join along because we're going to be doing something really cool that most people would be interested in drawing. I'm going to be showing you the 4 house trees. Today I'm going to focus on House Oak, which is why I'm in the beautiful color red, because House Oak is represented by color red because they show strength and love. Now, if you're a Brumfield student and you're not in House Oak, of course you can still draw along. That would be great. Actually, I'm not in House Oak either. I'm in Willow, which we'll do later. But it's important that we learn about our houses and why we have these different houses in Brumfield.
Students in House Oak embody strength. The oak tree grows slowly and can sometimes be over 300 years old. Because of this, it has represented wisdom within power throughout history. Students in Oak House show strength and make wise decisions in life. The House Oak crest shows the old oak tree in the center, which represents the strength of the big tree. The acorn at the bottom is the fruit of the oak, and it represents the fruit of wisdom and learning. The red background represents not only the power of the house, but the strength to show love for others. Atop the crest is the crown of a giraffe, representing that we are all part of the Brumfield community.
So I'll teach you how to draw the tree today. So grab a pencil. My favorite are Ticonderoga because they're just the best. But any pencil will do. And a piece of paper. I'm drawing in pencil today instead of Sharpie, so I hope it shows up okay because I'm going to need to erase today in order to show you how to do this. So when starting a tree, it can be really complicated because of all the branches that go this way and that way and you don't know what to do. So we're going to break it up into simple shapes and lines like we always do. So I'm going to start with the trunk of the tree. Now, House Oak is known for being really strong. In fact, they can grow up to 300 years old, which is pretty amazing. And we even have some oaks here in Virginia, so you could go outside and try to find one. Now, House Oak tree starts with a big trunk to show its strength. So, on my paper, I'm going to draw a big trunk. And I'm going to start lightly, and when I know I got the line right, then I'll draw it darker. Okay, do you see how it goes in just a little bit as I near the top? That's how most trees go, and that's what you're going to want to do with an oak tree. But notice it's really wide. So find the middle of your paper and draw 2 lines that slightly grow in towards each other. Okay, now I'm going to start with the Y technique for drawing trees. This is something I learned a while ago. It doesn't draw a perfect tree, but you can work with it to make it perfect as you go along. So I'm going to take this idea and make a big Y. So 2 lines going straight up towards the corners of my paper. Okay, once I know I got them right, I can draw them a little darker. You might want to keep it light till the end, but I'm drawing it a little darker so you can see where I draw, because I know it's harder to see pencil from a distance when I'm recording it. Now I'm going to make that a big bubble letter Y, like this, but I'm going to keep it light. Do you see that? It's very hard to see. I'll draw it with my finger. I really want to keep that one light because I'm going to change it a little bit. Now, off of each of these 2 branches, it kind of looks like a slingshot right now. That's not a tree. I'm going to start to draw more Ys, but they get smaller as they go. So you see the big Y here? Now I'm going to make another little Y here. And I'm going to make it a double line so it looks like a bubble letter Y. Okay, now I like that one, so I'm going to go ahead and make it a little darker. Do you see the branch starting to form? Also notice as I draw a new branch, that branch is significantly smaller than the branch I do before. So each time you're going to be getting a little smaller. Now branches go in different directions, so you could have this one have a Y go off this way. That's okay. Now the middle is where most people get confused. I like to draw a V in the middle of my trees and then make some branches coming off of that. Do you see the V here? And then have it come down beside it. Okay. Now notice it's not really touching my other ones yet because I'm going to do a curved line coming into that. So it looks like it connects pretty smoothly. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and draw some more branches coming off the side. Look, there's my Y. Why do you draw, Miss Beach? Well, I just love it so much. Plus, it's really relaxing. And I'm not really happy with this tree yet, to tell you the truth. But that's okay. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to throw my pencil across the room. I'm not going to ball up my paper. I'm going to keep trying. And the cool thing about pencil is if you really don't like it, just erase it and move it. It's not a big deal. Put that way over here now. But if I measure with my fingers, bigger, smaller, smaller, smallest. So you can see that it's shrinking as it goes higher up. I think I need one here. And I think I'll need one here. You can start to see it grow. Now, sometimes you got those weird branches that hang off the edge. They're great to hang swings off of. So maybe I'll do one of those. Now, the cool thing about your tree is if you want to go ahead and add in a bird on your branch, you can. That could be fun. You could add a swing coming down. All sorts of possibilities. I think I'll make this one a Y branch too. Make that one a little skinnier than this one. It's looking pretty good. Okay, now it's time. I can keep going and I can go Y all over. But I'm going to start to add in some of the leaves to fill it in some so that you can see that it's more like a oak tree in the spring and not the winter. Okay, so to add in leaves, I do not have to draw every little tiny leaf. That would take forever. And that's not what an artist does. Usually an artist looks at the big picture and visualizes it. So that's what we're going to do. So wherever I see branches, sometimes I'm going to overlap my branches. And I'm just going to put a blob in. This is going to be a bunch of my oak leaves. Now, if I overlapped a branch, I'm going to erase that branch. This is the tricky part. I'll go ahead and erase wherever my blob is overlapping on top. Okay, so there's one group of leaves. I think I want one here. So I'm going to add in another blob. And I think this time I'll just keep erasing wherever my blob overlaps one of my branches. Oh, I liked that one, but that's okay. Sometimes you might end up going back and putting it in. Sometimes you might not. All right, over here I need a big blob kind of sticking out the side so I can show my tree's growth. Sometimes I might have that branch just hide in that blob like that. That's okay too. There's lots of possibilities. And as I have my tree grow, sometimes my blobs overlap each other too. So this one, instead of drawing a full circle, I'm just going to go from this side to this side. And blob's not really a technical term, but really what I'm doing is just wiggling my line and drawing kind of a wonky oval. If it's easier for you, you could go ahead and draw in your oval, which is a much easier shape to make, and then just put a wiggly line around it and erase your oval line. Sometimes you have to find ways to do it yourself that you find easier. Basically, being an artist is trying to figure out who you are. Okay, it looks to me like this is a little filled out, but this side is very empty. So I'm going to put one of those blobs up here and maybe one more going off the top of my paper. That's okay if you let it go off the top of your paper. It's not a big deal. And then this little guy needs a blob too because he's just hanging out there with nothing. Do you see how all of a sudden my tree came to life? It's pretty awesome. Now, throughout history, oak trees have been known for wisdom. So if you look up oak tree, you might hear that it has been known to have a lot of powerful connotations to it, which is pretty cool. I noticed I needed one over here. Sometimes people look to them as really, what am I trying to say here? Really big. And because they grow for so long and they seem to have been there forever, they're just awesome things. So see, sometimes on video, Miss Beach messes up too. Now for the roots of our oak tree, I'm going to go ahead and draw little bumps like this at the bottom. Doesn't really have to be particular. It's just a wavy line. Notice that this wavy line kind of points towards this corner. This one points towards that corner. It's a little hard to see, and plus I'm not thrilled with it, so I'm going to redraw it a little bit different and a little bit darker. And then I'll go back in and erase what I didn't like. Now, our students in House Oak at Rumfield, their symbol when they walk past each other or we're in assembly is this, to represent that House Oak tree is strong. But also, house oak has a Latin word tied to it on our crest, and that word is ordo. Hey, you learned a new language today in your art class. Ordo is Latin for organization. And sometimes when you're being the strong person, you have to be very organized. So that's why a lot of times you might see our students in House Oak are very organized. All right, now I'm just putting in some light squiggles for the bark. Basically, I might go up and down, or I might do a swirl here or there, just to show the old bark. And I am going to go up into my branches too, with just some light squiggles. Now, just because I know it's hard to see my pencil lines, I am going to take a Sharpie. I didn't pull it out. Don't worry, I'm back. Right here. And I'm going to go over it a little darker so you can see my picture. I really advise you waiting till the end, and you might not even want to go over it darker. You could leave it nice and light. Sometimes I just like to sketch and leave things light to practice. That's okay too. So I am going to go over it so you can see what I've done. And sometimes when I'm going over a line, I don't go over all of the lines. I go over my favorite lines. Because sketching often has a lot of different lines. And an art teacher once told me, there's the right line in there somewhere. You just have to pick which one. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm picking which one I like. Wherever my branches touch, I am doing more of a curve than I did originally. See that? Just so it looks like a natural growth of a branch. I'm also making sure that they come down a little bit at an angle more than I did originally. The hard thing for an artist is knowing when to stop. Sometimes something feels always incomplete. But if you just keep going, something inside you will say, okay, that's good enough. And you stop. Trees are hard. If you're looking at your picture right now and you're going, oh my goodness, Miss Beach, how'd you make me draw a tree? I don't want to do this. Don't worry. It's your first try. You don't have to be perfect at your first try. I wasn't. I've been drawing my whole life. And I just kept at it. Drawing is a skill. A lot of people will tell you they're no good at drawing. But if I ask those people how often they draw, they'd probably say never. Now, I will tell you, I'm no good at baseball. But if you ask me, how often do you go outside and pitch a baseball? I'm going to be honest and say, never. So, if you want to be good at something, you need to practice. I know a lot of you guys are stuck at home right now. You could go outside and look at the trees in your yard. They don't have to be oak trees. Any tree. And look at how the branches fit together. Observe what you see. I'm just going to put some squiggles in here. I'm very lightly touching the paper with my marker and putting some dash marks here and there, just so it looks like some leaf texture. Again, I did not draw every individual leaf, just some leaf texture. And that way it should start to look like the old oak tree. Pretty awesome. So I love House Oak for a lot of reasons. I love that our students in House Oak are strong. They also have the strength to show love. And I love that they're super organized. So if you're in House Oak, you can take some pride in your house today and know that many people, even people who aren't in Brumfield, learned about your house, learned why you're in that house, and learned why it's so important. Again, this is a video, so if you found a tree frustrating, which I'm going to guess some of you did because trees are hard, feel free to rewind it. Try again. Don't give up. Art is a skill, and you get better if you practice. All I'm doing now is just putting in some squiggles here or there for my bark texture. There's the old oak tree. Awesome. All right, as always, I look forward to seeing what you did. Please post. Can't wait to see. My friends, I hope to see you soon. And next time, we're going to do a different tree for our house trees. Bye.